Mark was a guy I dated in the past. He was the first guy that I thought I loved. With him, I did a lot of stuff I wasn't comfortable with, but I did it because I wanted his love and attention. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, "My Husband is Divorcing Me Because of a Spicy Tape I Made in the Past." And guys, this story is about, this is actually written by the woman, it's her perspective, and essentially her husband is divorcing her because of events that happened after obviously finding out that she made a spicy video in the past. Now, unlike a lot of stories where this is where a guy might find it online or something like that in one of the websites and all, or a friend finds it, this is a situation where essentially he finds out that his wife made videos in the past with her ex. And this guy couldn't stand her ex and all that. I guess he was the bad boy, Chad Tyrone type. And ultimately, you're going to see it isn't just about that. What it is about, the problem, is that she was way more adventurous with her ex than she is with her current husband. He obviously gets the bare minimum, while the ex, hey, the sky was the limit what wifey was going to do. And this guy has a major issue with that. And so I'm going to go over this one, guys. It's a perfect example. What happens, guys, for you guys that are married or think about getting married one day, if your girl settles for you, let me tell you, if she sees you as the guy that she settles for, because she's reached a point in her life that obviously wants to have kids and a family, you ain't going to get what the other dudes got. And so if she's not very adventurous, you have to really accept the fact, at least in the moment, that she settled. And how you handle that going forward, well, that's up to you. Because at the end of the day, the guys that women really want to impress, the guys whose attention and validation they crave, and they also see as an alpha, they'll do anything. And I do mean anything. So for you guys that had that girl, whether it's your girlfriend right now or a girl you're dating or dated, who was willing to do anything you wanted, any position, any place, any freaky shit you can think of, all holes, whatever. Oh, she wanted your attention and validation, and she saw you as an alpha. But on the other hand, if you got the bare minimum, there you go. And guys do not want to be thought of as the one they settled for. No guy wants that, and the same way no girl wants that either. No girl wants to think that the girlfriend before her guy used to get all the romantic treatment and all that, and she gets the bare minimum. Oh, no. So it goes both ways. So you got to realize that, guys, people do settle. And this is a perfect example on how people treat you. So I'm going to get right into this, and we'll go from there. Starts off, says here, "My husband and I have been married for only over a year, and now things are looking really bad. My husband recently was gifted a really nice camera for his birthday, and with it, he really wanted to make a spicy tape." That was the first thing on his mind, huh? "On the topic, I suggest that we bring some extra lights in our bedroom for better lighting. He asked me in a joking manner if I was a PORN director. I told him I made one in the past. After looking at his face, I realized how much I just effed up. He stopped me dead in my tracks and asked me in a solemn voice, was it with Mark? Mark was a guy I dated in the past. He was the first guy that I thought I loved. With him, I did a lot of stuff I wasn't comfortable with, but I did it because I wanted his love and attention. I almost said affection. She wanted his attention. He used me for a long time until I decided to cut him off. I've told my husband about him, and he really doesn't like him." So it sounds to me that Mark was the bad boy Chad and Tyrone type. She said she thought she loved him, because these gals always think they love Chad and Tyrone, and wanted his attention and validation, and therefore willing to do anything to get it. You guys that are experienced know exactly what I'm talking about. I told my husband it was him, but it didn't matter that I wanted to create new memories with him. If she's willing to do all the freaky stuff on camera, that there could be some truth to this. We'll give her that. My husband told me that he felt sick and was done. He ended up leaving the house and left his phone at home. He came back home later in the night. I made him his favorite dinner, but he already ate out. We finally did talk about it. He says that he's angry that this guy Mark put so much distance between us. He said that he wanted to make a you-know-what tape and thought it would be a new experience we could share together. But the fact that Mark already made one with me ruined it. And he hates that there is a video like that of me on his computer, and that he probably showed it to all his friends. Well, given how things are in today's day and age, with the gals out there, you're out of your mind if you're not going to think that obviously she had her fun, didn't have any fun before you. Okay? It is what it is. Now, there's degrees of fun. Okay? There's one thing, had a few boyfriends. Okay, fine. And with that guy that she loved, she, did her thing. You don't want to ask. As opposed to the types I do stories on with every dude in town. That's a big difference. And so, it's not unreasonable to think, well, maybe she got a little adventurous, but it's another thing if it was every dude in town. But the thing is, it ain't just about the tape. It's the type of guy she was with, because he knew, obviously, who this guy was, and this guy knows other things you're going to see in a second here. My husband cooled off after talking to me, and I thought things got better. But then he got really angry and cold. He found my old laptop that was broken and recovered the hard drive and found the video I made with Mark. God, this guy's determined. It's the old be careful what you wish for, or he's opening Pandora's box here, trying to get proof. The thing that makes the video especially damaging was that in the video, I'm a lot more vocal than I am with my husband. And I'm doing things in there that I wouldn't do with my husband, or I don't do with my husband. There you go. Okay, she was going to make a video with this guy, but now he's seeing on video, not only is she willing to do these things with her ex that she's not willing to do with her husband, the guy who she want to be married to, be with it for life, that type of thing, death do you part. But also, she's way more into that dude moaning and carrying on to this guy, because the husband obviously is the guy she settled for. She's not as turned on with him, and of course, not doing all the stuff that he wants to do. Doesn't surprise me, but this is how it works. Since then, he's given me the silent treatment. I have tried doing things to get him to open up and talk to me, but now it feels like my marriage is falling apart. Before all this, we were talking about starting a family together, but now I don't know where we are. My husband comes home from work, and we'll just go sometime and not answer my texts or calls. What do I do? Nothing you can do. You can try to talk to him, but he's going to know it's bullshit, because at the end of the day, he can see through her actions that she's settled. No guy wants to think or believe that their girl, the one they love, settled for him. Just the same way no girl wants to think that their guy settled for her. If a girl found out that her man, her boyfriend, or her husband had this other girl that he was hot for, but didn't work out, and then chose her instead, settled, she'd be pretty upset, and that would be understandable. Right? It's the same thing with a guy. And now he's going to have this image in his head of her with this Mark dude doing all these things. Now, he could have left it at that, they made the tape and didn't have to go digging up proof, but then maybe he had to see the proof to prove he wasn't getting all the loving that he thought he was getting. She continues, following up, she says, I want to share with you all what happened since my last post. Unfortunately, things have not gone well at all. I do want to clarify some things. One mainly about the laptop. That laptop that I had was years old. I had no idea the video was on the laptop. Sure, honey. The charger for it broke a while back and the battery was weird. I wanted to throw it out, but my husband is a big fan of scrapping things for the electronic parts. However, he never got around to it. My husband and I had some talks, but nothing really ever changed. After I posted, he decided to sleep in another bed for me. He wasn't eating what I made him anymore. We had a big talk that I thought things were going to go down the right path, and he had calmed down and said that he realized his insecurity was controlling him and that he doesn't want Mark to ruin it. I told him that I would answer anything I can do to make things better. So again, back to the, she had a past and all that, and okay, she made a video, but it boils down to what she was doing in the video, how she was reacting to Mark. That's his main issue. If she was giving him, the husband here, everything he ever wanted and was doing the same thing, that'd be different. But clearly it's not. It says here, but this is where things, I guess, got bad. He would ask me really personal things about the SCX ad with Mark. Did I enjoy his you-know-what more? Ask me, for example, if he stretched me out. If I said that I don't remember or that I didn't enjoy it, he would take it as an answer. The video of me was really damning, and I don't know what to do. I think the video itself is basically burned into his head. He would ask questions that would basically hurt himself and then grow more distant. Men are men, and once they get these things in their head, is not going to go away. She says here, the SCX and affection just plummeted. The most we really had after all this was cuddling every other attempt I made. Just tiny things he would push away and said he wasn't up for it. I tried to be patient with him as best I could, but I ended up getting frustrated and angry. I wanted to put this behind us. I've done so much for him, yet a relationship I had from before I even met him ruined me. We got into a fight and he got really nasty. He told me that I should leave and go back to Mark. No guy wants to believe that they've been settled for. It makes you feel like just a piece of crap. And no woman wants to be settled for either. If a woman found out that her guy back with the girl before him was all romantic and flowers and romantic outings and dinners and all that type of crap that you see in the movies, and meanwhile she gets nothing, the bare minimum, she'd be pretty upset about that. That's the best comparison I can make for the women to understand where it's coming from for the guy to get the bare minimum in the sack. Meanwhile, the ex, the Chad and Tyrone, got anything and everything. He told me that I never found him sexy and that I only saw him as a backup plan after I broke up with Mark. He told me that is why I did more with Mark, that I was Mark's SLUT, and that he was a safe option. Well, he's right. She obviously knew she was going to get the wedding ring and the house in the suburbs and the white picket fence with Mark the bad boy, so she's going to get it with Neil. I decided at this point that I wasn't going to try and bother defending myself. I realize I'm still in my 20s and I don't want to throw more years into a relationship only for my husband to despise me. My husband asked for a divorce and I told him I agreed. There you go. She obviously settled. We all know that. And she ain't happy. And this guy realizes she settled. He ain't happy. He knows he can't meet her needs like the other dude can. And irreconcilable differences. So, and they've been married, I think she said like a year. So it's not like it's very long. So probably it'll be hopefully sped along pretty quickly in the courts. Since then, we haven't talked. We both gotten lawyers, and since we didn't have much stuff together, we were just dividing it up through mediation. I don't want his money or any alimony. I don't even qualify. I just want out of this relationship. It never really got to me when I married my husband how thin our love really was. I never thought that a simple slip-up in telling him I made a video before could cause all this. We had so many tough times that we went through, and this of all things broke us. My husband prior to all this was the sweetest, most gentle man I knew. Well, there you go. That's the type of guy I guarantee you Mark the bad boy, Mark the chatter Tyrone type was not the sweetest and gentle man, because a sweet and gentle man isn't going to plow her like she wants in the sack. Now I got a few comments here to see that I'm not alone in the thinking here. One guy says, the amount of hate on the husband here is ridiculous. He's referring to all the comments hating on the husband. This isn't the OP's fault, but isn't the husband's either. One of the foundations of the relationship was broken and neither person knew. OP's husband found that his wife flat out prefers the ex SEX to him, and he was unwilling to settle for that. That is perfectly valid reason to end a relationship. Finding out that you're inferior due to a reason you can't change is absolutely humiliating. I agree. If you can't understand that, if you're unwilling to understand that, then you're incapable of understanding men, period. No matter what, if it wasn't an issue with OP, it's an issue for the husband. He knows he doesn't satisfy her, so he ends it. That doesn't make him a bad person. I agree with that. Another guy says, here's a shocker for you. If the roles were reversed, I would completely empathize with her. And there have been cases which that has occurred. Insecurity is one thing. Learning you're actually inferior sexually to what your partner prefers because of an unchangeable aspect is another matter. Okay. And the last one, guy says here, I think a lot of men have a huge fear of being the safe bet. The one that she settled for after getting all the crazy SEX out of her system. He had his fear realized. The well was poisoned. There is no turning back from that now. Honestly, this is a case, assuming all true, where no one was really at fault. It's just one of those unfortunate events. Yeah, but you know what? She is young. He's obviously young or young enough. They can start over, move on. He learned a lot. She learned a lot. She's probably going to go back to Mark. Mark my words, because Mark is not going to be... Chad and Tyrone doesn't get married, so the second... I guarantee already at this point they're splitting up. She's already on the phone with Mark. Getting plowed in Mark's bed, probably making another freaking video. But anyhow, no guy wants to be settled for. And so for you relationship guys that like to watch these things for entertainment and learning things, remember, if for your whole life gals were not paying attention to you, and you got a little older, late 20s, 30s, and you were starting to make some money, got some resources coming into who you are, and all of a sudden the floodgates have opened, and all these gals are pretty and sexy bodies are giving you attention, remember, it could be simply because they're getting close to 30 or their 30s, and they're ready to settle. And just you remember that and be careful in your screening process before you decide to settle down, because you don't want to be like this dude here. And it happens all the time. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Then just think about this. Let me know if you think indeed, obviously, he handled things correctly with regards to reacting to how she obviously was on the tape versus what she is with him. And also, guys, if you come across a good story you'd like to share, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me a chance, I'll get to it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.